Hey, welcome to the Summit Host Hangout podcast, where you'll learn how to plan, strategize, and launch your profitable online summit. No influencer status necessary. I'm your host, Krista from Summit in a Box, and today in episode 88, we have got a fun topic about where to save and where to splurge when planning a virtual summit. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to grab a fun new freebie we have that goes along with this episode, which is our Virtual Summit Buyer's Guide. In it, you'll find all of our recommended tech options and resources. Each option has 3 versions: free, low cost, and higher cost. And we also indicated which option is our top recommendation and which option kind of is our second choice. We directly link to each piece of software as well to make it nice and easy and quick for you. So to grab that buyer's guide, head over to summithosthangout.com/guide. I want to start this episode by talking about what if I can't splurge? This episode is about where to save, where to splurge. What if you're like, I just need to save? And I want to start by saying you can host a summit without splurging at all, okay? In the freebie I just mentioned, we have a full tech stack that you could get for as little as $300. You do not need to spend a ton on that. Summit in a Box members, go to your Ultimate Buyer's Guide resource, and at the bottom of that, the first part looks similar to this freebie, but at the bottom we have 3 budget recommendations for you: a $300 budget, $2,000, and $10,000. So you can kind of say, okay, I'm in. I need to spend as little as possible. Look at the $300 column and see exactly what we recommend, okay? But that just goes to show you don't need to spend a ton. And if that's you, you might want to start, just listen to the where to save portion of this and then maybe ignore the where to splurge part, so that you're not like, oh, I can't do it. You're not left feeling FOMO or anything like that. But in that part of the episode, I am going to assume that if you're interested in hearing me tell you where to splurge, that you have a little bit of a budget to play with. So let's dive in first to 4 places I recommend you save, and then we'll go into the 4 places I recommend you splurge. All right, the first place I recommend you save for your summit is your community. Building an engaged community is a hugely important part of hosting a successful and impactful event. We have an entire series of episodes on it, and it starts on episode 53, which we'll link to in the show notes. But you don't need some fancy platform that you have to pay for to make an awesome community happen. Use a free Facebook group. Sure, people complain all the time. I hate Facebook. I don't like Facebook. But so many people use it anyway. So many people are on Facebook. It's free. There's no extra logins required. Everyone knows how to use it. And it has everything you need to get your summit audience engaged. You do not need to spend money on anything else. So your community is the first place to save. Use a free Facebook group. The next place you can save for your summit is your email marketing platform. So I see a lot of people in the Summit Host Hangout Facebook group who are on a more basic email marketing platform like MailChimp, MailerLite, things like that. They're kind of tempted to use their summit as an opportunity to upgrade to something else when it's time to move forward with it. Could this upgrade make things potentially easier, give you more options? Maybe. But it could also be a major headache and leave you doing tech troubleshooting on a platform you don't totally understand because you switched right before your summit happened. If you want to switch platforms for your business as a whole, that's one thing. Okay, go ahead and do it. But if you feel like you have to just to host a successful event, you just straight up don't need to. For the summit I'm planning right now, we're using a platform called Moosend. I had never even heard of it before. It's something my co-host has access to. I'm pretty sure it's a pretty basic platform, but it has everything we need. If you can collect email addresses and put them in a segment or tag or separate list based on if they registered for your summit, and then send them relevant emails, that is all you need. You don't need a fancy platform. So if you're looking for places to save, make it your email marketing system. You do not need to get anything fancy. The next place you can save for your summit is live calls and interaction. So Zoom is my recommended option here for $15 a month just while you're using it. So you could just have it for 1 month, the month that your summit happens, and cancel it after that. With Zoom, you can host everything from live trainings to Ask Me Anything sessions, co-working calls, networking sessions. You can do everything on Zoom. And there are more and more live, interactive, fancy platforms popping up for hundreds or thousands of dollars, but you just straight up don't need them. Keep it simple and inexpensive and stick with Zoom if you're looking for places to save but want a live interaction aspect, all right? the final place actually that I want you to consider saving is for your design and copy, okay? You could easily spend $5,000 on design and another $5,000 on copy. When it comes to your summit, I have spent a whole lot of money on design and copywriting for my summits, but you straight up don't need to, okay? You have two options to save this $10,000. You can do it yourself. It will take quite a bit of time, but you can do it yourself. Or, shameless plug, you can get our Summit in a Box program where we have hundreds, literally hundreds of design and copy templates for you. These are design and copy templates created by my designer or a copywriter. And all you have to do is fill in the blanks and you're off to the races with summit copy and graphics and design that have been proven to convert in all kinds of summits for a small fraction of the cost of having it all done for you. Not to mention the time you're saving yourself. Like, it will save you so much time compared to doing it yourself. Like, I just used my own templates for writing my promo copy from the summit I have coming up. Last week I did this. I know for my first summit, I probably spent at least 20 hours writing this copy. And then last week when I did it, it took me about an hour, which was really cool to see like how much time these resources can save. So I'll talk about this more at the end, but the best place to learn about Summit in a Box if you're interested in saving in this way, when we aren't publicly open for enrollment, is in our free masterclass, which you can watch at summitinabox.co/class. All right. So those are the 4 places I recommend saving in your summit: your community, your email marketing, live interaction, and your design and copy, which I guess is technically 5 places. But let's move into where to splurge. And this one's fun. I don't know. I like spending money where it's going to make my job easier or faster, or just like elevate the experience, whether it's the experience for me or my speakers and attendees. So if you have money to spend and want to know what's going to be the most impactful, these are my top 4 recommendations. First, if you have some money to put anywhere, I recommend putting it towards a VA to help. There are a lot of aspects of your summit, especially things related to customer service and your speakers, that you'll find yourself doing over and over. So for example, if you have 20 speakers, that means you need to onboard them all, make all of their presentation pages, get all their videos uploaded, add all of their information to the registration page. Like, the list goes on and on. There are so many things you're repeating. Since those are repeatable tasks, it makes them very easy to outsource. And since it can save you so much time that you can then focus on other things, having a VA to help with this is my top recommendation for where to splurge. And you do not have to go crazy. Like, I maybe spent even like $1,000 on a VA for my last one, and I used her for all kinds of things that you don't have to. Like, we were doing notes and worksheets and all these crazy extra things for all of our presentations. So even if you have a budget of a few $100s for a VA, it is worth it. You can also have them then help in your inbox and your community the week of your event. So you can just kind of focus your attention on where it really matters and where you are most needed to make a big impact. My next recommendation for where to splurge is with the software you use for your cart. Now, if you're already on something great and flexible, this is not me recommending that you switch. So if you're already on WordPress, you can use WooCommerce for free. You don't need anything extra. If you're like on Kajabi or Podia or something like that, use that cart software, okay? But if you're using a platform that doesn't have anything flexible, grab ThriveCart. It's a one-time cost that you can use over and over for everything throughout your business. You have all the options you need. It integrates with everything. Like, honestly, even though I do use WordPress for my summits, ThriveCart has been really tempting to me just because it's fancy and shiny and has all these cool features. But if you're looking for somewhere else to splurge that's going to have a big impact, ThriveCart is great. You can do order bumps and upsells and embed it in your website, all these different things that can be really powerful. Again, don't feel like you need to do this if you already have a great cart software, but it is a recommendation I have of something that's worth it if you don't already have it. All right, video hosting is another place that can be worthwhile for splurging. So I do have some students who use YouTube to host their summit videos, but I'm just not a fan of the limited flexibility you have with the embed options and what shows up after your video is over. And with Vimeo, you can customize everything from colors to what options display for people watching, to having the ability to show a custom call to action and button at the end of videos rather than like other recommended videos, which is what YouTube shows. You can see our recommended plan that we would recommend you grab in the buyer's guide I mentioned earlier at summitHostHangout.com/guide. But Vimeo is definitely worth splurging on, and it's really not that huge of a splurge either because you can use it all throughout your business once you have it. Another optional splurge I want to talk about is your tech platform, okay? If you're on an awesome tech platform for your website, stick with it, okay? If you're not convinced that you want to stay there and you have room for what will initially at least feel like a splurge, give Kajabi a try. Now, in my episode with Jamie Slutsky, she recommends not using Kajabi, and that's in episode 31. So I do recommend you go check that out and get her take on it. But the more I use it, and the more templates I make for my Summit in a Box students, the easier it seems. And that's the platform I use for the Summit in a Box website. Everything you need for a business and Summit is built in, and it's an easy option for those of you who don't consider yourselves techie. So like right now, our most prominently featured platform we recommend is WordPress, but we're getting so many people who kind of have trouble with tech and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it gives them so much trouble, even with tutorials sometimes. But Kajabi is just so easy. And it does seem expensive up front, which is why I have it in the splurge section. But remember that so much you need to run a business is built into that cost. So it actually saves you a ton of money in the long run. Like your video hosting is included. You wouldn't need Vimeo. Your affiliate software is included in your cart software. You don't need ThriveCart. Your course hosting is included. You don't need Podia or Teachable. Your email marketing is included. You don't need ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign. There's limited functionality countdown timers, so you could do without Deadline Funnel if you want to, although I do love Deadline Funnel a lot. You don't need to pay for extra website hosting. Everything is built in. So if you're not on a tech platform you really love and you're looking kind of for an excuse to switch to something more flexible and easier to use, give Kajabi a try. They have a free trial, I think. I'll link to it in the show notes. I do have an affiliate link, so it'd be sweet if you used it. That's not the purpose of me shutting them out, though. It's just so easy to use. And if I wasn't already on WordPress, that's what I'd be hosting my summits on. But I already have my template and everything set up, so I'm just going to keep on using that for now. All right, that was technically my 4, but I do have one more. I didn't count it in my original 4 places to splurge because it is a shameless plug, but I'm serious. If you have a little extra money to splurge for your summit, I really recommend that you consider grabbing Summit in a Box. And this is not just so I can make a buck. You guys, this program has literally hundreds and hundreds of proven resources to make your summit hosting process easy. We walk you through every single strategy you need to know and give you hundreds of copy templates, design templates, website templates, tech tutorials, and more to make the process so quick and easy and just remove any doubt and questions you have throughout the process. I don't recommend doing this, but we have had students join the program and then use it to launch summits within 2 weeks of joining because of the resources we have to make the process so easy. Again, I do not recommend that. It stresses me out just thinking about it, but it makes the process quick and easy. If you're here to learn where it's worth it to splurge, you will not get a better return on an investment than you will with joining Summit in a Box. We do have a money back guarantee and everything, so I stand behind that statement. And you can learn more about it in the masterclass I'll tell you about in a second, but it's at summitinabox.co/class. As a recap, you can host a summit on a super tight budget, but if you have a little money to spend, focus on the aspects that will make your job easier and increase the likelihood that you'll see a good return on your time spent on this event. So again, those things are your team, your cart, where you're hosting your videos, your tech platform, and by joining Summit in a Box if you can. Your action steps for this episode. First, figure out what your actual summit hosting budget is. Don't just go throughout the process kind of going by gut feeling. Oh, should I invest in this? I'm not sure. Figure out your budget up front and then map out what will go into that budget. If you can leave yourself a little wiggle room, do that in case you run into something cool down the road, but map it all out in advance and grab our buyer's guide at summithosthangout.com/guide to help see your options of what can go into what you're willing to spend. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. For show notes and resources mentioned, head to summithosthangout.com/088. And now for that masterclass that I mentioned. It's called the 3-part framework to triple your monthly revenue with a virtual summit while building your list for free. In this class, we cover everything from how to create a plan you can actually follow, how to host a profitable event and land really awesome speakers if you don't have a huge audience, and how to use my 3-part profitable summit system. You can also learn about our Summit in a Box program and have the opportunity to join even if enrollment isn't publicly open. So join us at summithosthangout.com/class and you can pick a time to watch that today. Now go out and take action to plan, strategize, and launch your profitable online summit.